Uba Adelbert nang room bedi UMLE kaliang persya na not Shillong uba nakaseng Voice of the People Party la terwa ban Pynbun ni Sngi jong ka Dorbar senrai pelabu da ka Business Advisory Committee hagaban yatai handai ke yang Dorbar tauan kala Kyntiat ya ka amendment motion ka blonra do new nong mi khmat pajba ka not Shillong habas dangi ketika Dorbar senrai uba Adelbert nang room ulong ba ka jingbu ya ka por ka batang san Sngi ban Shong Dorbar bat ai tang ar Sngi ban ya keren ya ki kam ki MLE shimen ulong ba ka por ka lingkot palan ya ka yang Dorbar ban ai ka jingle hok shik babun ki kam ki bakong san jong ka jela ki badan kam bat la shuhab ban ya keren kirki hapok ka yang Dorbar ka bi kendu tang arsian ha ka shisnam haba juba usembut menteri rangba ba khmi ya Parliamentary Affairs uba Preston Tensong ulong ba ka Business Advisory Committee kaladap ya keren benya bha ya barok ki kam bat ha ka Dorbar senrai bal adap ru kisngi bal abu ban Shong Dorbar kalong san Sngi Hashwaban bu ya ka motion sya ka jingya vot ulam phang ka yang Dorbar la kular ya dukhat baula ban penjalan ya ka por la da don kam da ka boong bau ai ka jing kular la da mi ka jing don kam bat an penjalan ya ka por handrei ya kisngi Shong Dorbar wat hapreng ka jingkerpat ulam phang ka yang Dorbar penweng no ka motion UMLE ka VPP na not Shillong uba Adelbert nong room ulong bau burom ya ka jingkerpat jong ulam phang ka yang Dorbar handrei weng setia ya ka amendment motion.
Inform you that I have received a notice from Sri Adelbert Nongrum MLA dated 21st August 2024 for amendment to the motion for allocation of time proposed by Business Advisory Committee under Rule 231 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business, which reads as follows. To the Commissioner and Secretary, Meghalaya Legislative Assembly, Shillong. Subject, notice under Rule 231 for the motion of amendment to the allocation of timetable proposed by Business Advisory Committee. Dear Dr. Andrew, I am to submit this notice under Rule 231 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business of my desire to move a motion of amendment to the allocation of timetable proposed by Business Advisory Committee for the forthcoming autumn session of the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly. The motion that I am putting forward is the allocation of 5 working days with only 2 days for private members' business is too short a time for the state legislature to do justice to the many pressing issues concerning the state that require the attention of this august house, which meets only twice a year. I seek to move the aforesaid motion on the first day of the session so that the report of allocation of timetable may be referred back to the Business Advisory Committee for consideration on the concerns and recommendations raised by participating members at the House discussion. Signed, Adelbert Nongrum. I have examined the amendment motion and I would like to inform the House that the Rule 231 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business provides that an amendment can be moved to the motion moved by the Deputy Chief Minister in charge, Parliamentary Affairs. You may initiate discussion and try to be brief and specific. Mr. Adelbert Nongrum, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for allowing me under Rule 231 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business to move this motion of amendment to the allocation of time table proposed by Business Advisory Committee. To start, may I kindly point out that this current sitting of the Assembly is being labelled in the official Assembly calendar as autumn session. However, for me, and perhaps many others too, I'm quite certain that this present wet monsoon, much month of rain, is a little too early for autumn season. That apart, Mr. Speaker, sir, this is not the first time that I have raised an objection to the absolutely short numbers of days allocated for assembly session. And I can already presume that my request for the report on allocation of time table to be referred back to the Business Advisory Committee will not be entertained by the Minister in charge, Parliamentary Affairs. So to cut short and come straight to the point, which can be practically considered, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to recall what you had said in earlier session in this very august house about your valuable experience as a member of parliament, where you narrated how house sitting in parliament would continue to late in the evening so as to finish the entire business of the day. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, through you, I wish to seek the cooperation of the Minister in charge Parliamentary Affairs that, in keeping with the values of parliamentary democracy, the government of the day will be considerate of the many pressing issues concerning the state that require the urgent attention of this august house. And the various items of business which have been listed to be taken up, particularly private members' business, will not be cut short by the bell, but instead be granted ample time to be extended even beyond the regular hour. Mr. Speaker, sir, another point that I want to raise is that as members of the legislature, when we are submitting notice to the Assembly Secretariat informing of our intention to move either short duration discussion or calling attention motion, we are promptly informed by Assembly Secretariat that there are already enough number of submissions received and that no further submission can be considered by the Assembly Secretariat as the timetable of the session is packed. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is what I mean when I said at the start that the number of days allocated for this autumn session is absolutely too short, because it is really not our fault as members of the legislature that we offer too many notice for short duration discussion or calling attention motion that cannot fit within the timetable proposed by Business Advisory Committee. Hence, here again, I propose a possible solution that the convention and practice of listing only one item of calling attention motion and one item of short duration discussion in the business of the day be relaxed. As I have gone through the rules of procedure and conduct of business, and I find that there is no restriction specified in Rule 51 on the numbers of short duration discussion that can be taken up in a day, and even in the case of calling attention motion under Rules 54. The specified restriction of one item is if there are more than one submission relating to the same matter. Mr. Speaker, sir, here I humbly request for a generous interpretation of the rules from your esteemed authority. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to draw your attention to the practice of 0 hour being followed in the House of Parliament. Through video coverage, we have seen how when the Honorable Lok Sabha MP from Shillong raised a 0 hour, there were other MPs who did so before him at the same sitting and other MPs after him as well. In this context, I again refer to the rules of procedure and conduct of business in Meghalaya Legislative Assembly, and I find that there is no restriction specified in Rules 49A on the number of 0 hour that can be raised in a day. Mr. Speaker, sir, I earnestly hope that my few and humbly suggestion to allow for more item of business to be taken up in a day by this august house merits your consideration, your kind consideration. And with the same sincerity, I once again emphasize that the allocation of 5 working days with only 2 days for private members' business is not enough, is too short a time for the state legislature to do justice to the many pressing issues concerning the state that require the urgent attention of this august house which meets only twice a year. Mr. Speaker, sir, I fear that limiting this current assembly session to only a few days is really like curtailing the voice of the people. And by what? And by that, I don't mean just the voice of the party that I proudly represent, but the voice of the people of our representative constituency who have plenty of expectation from us, their elected representative, and from this August House, for their many issues and concerns to be raised and heard. With these very few words, Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you once again for allowing me to move this motion of amendment to the allocation of time table proposed by the Business Advisory Committee. Thank you. With this submission, I resume my seat.
Thank you. Anybody wanting to participate? Minister in charge to reply.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the day when the BSC sat under your chairmanship, sir, we have already discussed all the details about all these issues. And if we recollect again, last year autumn session, we also had the same allotted calendar, which ultimately comes to 5 working days. And number two, that day in the BSC, sir, I think I've already expressed, because from the government side, we need only 3 days. On the basis of that, we said that, okay, for the private members, let us have 2 days. And in addition to that, by convention, what we have already decided that day also, sir, in case if need be, 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours in a day, it can be extended. Sitting can be extended. So accordingly, sir, we proposed and we passed in the BSC, and ultimately now I would request the House to adopt this proposal, and we'll go ahead. And maybe in the next BSC again, we will sit down, we'll discuss how to go about it. But for the autumn session, as already discussed in the BSC, sir, I would request that the House do approve the proposals.
So, may I know the mind of the mover, whether he will withdraw his amendment motion?
Okay.
We have heard from the Honourable Member his request for extension of the days of the sitting of the House and the reply of the Honourable Parliamentary Affairs Minister. So in this case, should a necessity arise where we feel, and the Honourable Speaker also feels, that the days have to be extended, then perhaps that cannot be done by the voice of the House. You may have to again call the BSC to decide whether the days can be extended, sir, should the situation arise. So I would like to place this on record for your advice, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I will examine that matter. So, may I know the mind of the mover, please? Whether he will withdraw his amendment motion?
Honorable Mr. Speaker, sir, as you would like to know my mind, whether I will draw this motion or not. Sir, with respect to you and all honorable members, since honorable member from North Mai, Pachal Spring Group, had expressed the need, this is not the one, in fact, it is the need, it is the required, it is a required of time. It is, therefore, I demand, not only request through your respected chair. So why? Because this is happening every now, like in the past, and also as well now. So it is a great loss for the state as a whole. Because
have
this is the
already made-
only platform to discuss and to raise many issues. Therefore, sir, I would like to get, I would like to get from you the assurances from you.
No, you have already expressed your mind. Now,
Like the,
please tell the House that
Honorable,
whether you want
Parliamentary
wish to
Secretary,
withdraw.
Honorable Parliamentary Secretary, Parliamentary Affairs, who had expressed that if needed, it may extend to 2-3 hours. But my personal view, for the betterment of all, let it be extended. If needed, it may be to midnight also, there will be no problem. Because you yourself, you had expressed in the last session that even in the Parliament, if needed, it raise not just 2-3 hours. This will not be enough, sir. Therefore, I place this demand before you.
Yes,
I would like to get a first assurance from you.
No. There will be no assurance from. Sorry.
One more clarification, sir. Sir, in fact, yes, I rightly agree to the honorable mover who has just mentioned, because I already replied, and then even in the BAC, very clearly we said, if need be in any particular day, under your authorities, you can always extend. Yes, if need be, maybe up to midnight or midday again or whatever, we are ready for that, sir. So therefore, question of extending the days, as of now, I personally feel that we should not, and let us approve the House. I would request the honourable members of this August House, let us approve the allocation proposal made by the BAC, sir.
Yes. No, I will extend the debating hours if the need requires. I will extend the hours. As already explained by the Honourable Minister for Parliamentary Affairs in charge, to extend the days, the BAC will have to sit again. But I'm not going into that. I just want to know the mind of the mover, whether he will wish to withdraw his amendment motion or he will not. Because I'm giving my assurance from the thing that if the need arises, I will extend the times. Not the days, but the time, hours will be extended if the need arises.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, sir, since we had an opportunity to discuss, so we have heard one another, and moreover, maybe if it not required in days to extend, because it will be impossible. But this will be the lesson for the coming session. I really, request the BSC that this will be a lesson for the future. How to allot the calendar, the time calendar. Sir, okay, if that is the case, I would really like to hear from you. Not only 2-3 hours. It will not be enough, sir. For you, as being a speaker, for others who are in the tertiary bench, is enough. They may just be hurried. They may take things in a hurried way. Like we as a opposition, we clearly express that it is not enough. So therefore, I will not withdraw. I would like to see action, not only words, sir. Because I believe in action, not words.
So you will not withdraw?
Yeah, I will not withdraw, sir.
Time for discussion is, Minister has already replied now. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, sir, just one submission.
Okay, briefly, please.
It'll be in the fitness of things for the interest of this August House and inconsistent with the proposed amendment by the Honourable Member from Shillong North, that there has been some deviation over the years in respect of utilization of time in as far as within the allocated time and as approved by the BAC and the House. Particularly in respect of the Rule 49A of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business. I think these need to be corrected because so far we are allowed to take up only one item under this Rule 49A. I remember as I entered this August House in 1993, we had the privilege of being able to move more than one. So this, I don't recollect as to when we deviated from this practice, but we need to correct it. And as you are aware, Mr. Speaker, sir, this is the same practice which is followed in the Parliament. So this part, at least as far as the provision under the Rule 49A of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business, this need to be appropriately utilized, and please make it, let this be a space for the members to further use it effectively to take up issues of urgent and grave public interest issues.
Yeah. But I feel that we have to restrict the number of 0-hour call attention, short durations, as there are many other business to be taken up. Unlike in Parliament, the sitting of our house is restricted only up to 2 p.m. and 12 noon on Fridays. This is the practice and convention in the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly since its inception. But however, I have, in the previous sittings of this August House, I have extended the time even up to 6 o'clock, and if required, maybe even more. So, please, Honourable Member, once again I ask you whether you wish to withdraw or not.
I respect your request for me whether to withdraw or not. Sir, I told you, this is not, I'm not just yesterday in this August House. I have seen, seeing is believing. So because of that, actions speak more louder than words. I will not withdraw, I will see first the action. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Since the mover of the amendment motion is not willing to withdraw his amendment, I will now put the question before the House. The question is that the amendment moved by the mover, Sri Adalbert Nongrum MLA, be adopted. Those who are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The noes have it, and the amendment is rejected by the House.